Hello and welcome. Are you ready for your 10-minute fiction vacay? Do you need a little break from work? A pick me up? Stay tuned. My name is Marie LeClaire, and I'll be reading chapter 10 from my novel, The Last Yard Sale. You can download it for free on Amazon and other ebook platforms. Our story continues with Marybeth's donation to the women's shelter. I hope you enjoy it. Chapter 10. The Jefferson County Women's Shelter served women and children from Pomeroy and the surrounding communities. It was more than just a shelter. They also offered counseling, legal aid, and reestablishment services to get families into safe homes. The organization had been around for years, adapting to the changing needs of the population. The shelter opened in the 70s when a little too much free love sometimes landed women in what polite people called a condition. Now, a single pregnant woman can get by depending on her circumstances. But 40 years ago, it was quite a big deal to be an unwed mother, and the pressure to give your baby up for adoption was powerful. This was one of those places that women would stay until they gave birth. Marybeth set off a buzzer inside the shelter when she turned into the driveway, alerting the residents that someone was on the property. Theresa, the house manager, came out to meet her. "Hi, Angel," she called, waving as she came down the back door stairs. "Hey, everyone, our Angel's here. Come help unload." "Hey, Theresa, how's it going?" Marybeth called back. "More of the same. You know how it goes." Women started coming out of the house to help unload. Some faces looked familiar. She was sure they'd been here before. Women often made more than one attempt to break away. That was the pattern of domestic violence. On some level, she could understand why women, or men too for that matter, stayed in a bad relationship. Sometimes it was out of fear of one thing or another. Sometimes it's the ever hopeful soul that gets stuck waiting for things to get better. Eric had made promise after promise, apology after apology, keeping her in a constant state of waiting for things to get better. In the end, she wondered if any of it had been genuine. It was one of those torturous feedback loops she ran constantly in the early days of her divorce. It had nearly driven her mad. It didn't matter now, she told herself, and forced her emotions back in check. She simply refused to go there. Just in time to pull her out of her own downward spiral, two small children appeared peeking around Theresa's legs. "Well, hi there." Marybeth was careful not to startle them. "What can I get for you two today?" Brian and Sophie, Theresa indicated the children respectively as she was naming her right leg and left leg, "were wondering if you had any toys they might like." "As a matter of fact, I think I do. Let's take a look." Marybeth turned to her open hatch and pulled out a box of children's toys. "Look what I have here." She pulled out a teddy bear with blue jean overalls and tools stuck in the pockets. "What do you think about that, Brian?" Brian came gingerly out from behind Theresa's leg, long enough to accept the toy, and then dashed off to the house. Marybeth turned her attention to Sophie. "Now, let's see. You look like a fairy princess kind of girl, am I right?" Sophie nodded enthusiastically. "Well then, I think this might be just perfect." She pulled out a Belle doll in nearly perfect condition. "What do you think?" The young girl accepted it, murmured a quiet thank you, and darted back to the house after Brian. "You are a special person, Marybeth. Really, an angel." Theresa hugged her. She was reaching for the last box to hand it off to Theresa when she continued. "Marybeth, the shelter's in trouble." Marybeth turned to her from the open car. What do you mean in trouble? Apparently, one of the board members died recently, and they need to fill the spot, or else we're closed. Can't they just ask someone? They have. So far, no takers. We were thinking maybe you would take the spot. Oh, no way. Sorry, Theresa, but I don't know anything about that stuff, and I intend to keep it that way. No one cares about the shelter the way you do. You are truly an angel. I think you seriously misinterpreting my tax deduction motivation. Please, Marybeth, won't you at least consider it? Please, please. I'll chew on it a little bit, but it's not likely. I'm sure someone will step in. I hope so. Anyway, thanks a million, as always. Marybeth handed off the box of toys, closed up the hatch, and drove away, waving to the children watching her from the window. As she drove away, she considered her next stop. There were a few things at the shop that needed minor repairs or cleanup before they could be resold, and paperwork was piling up. At the house, she had a garage full of works in progress, and the box was there, of course. She considered, with more than a little frustration, how much of her mental energy that thing was chewing up. Whenever her brain had a spare moment, there it was. It was quickly becoming a pain. The other thing that had started taking up space in her head was Josh. She was curious about it. How coincidental that he could show up with some strange psychic ability just when all this weird stuff was going on. Was that another piece to the puzzle that started with the old woman and the yard sale? Did all this fit together somehow? She started to feel manipulated by the old woman. Who was she? Marybeth felt her frustration level rising. Well, she would not be manipulated by anyone. She resolved to be cautious where Josh was concerned. When she got back to the shop and opened up her laptop, she noticed the sticky note that she'd written herself after her strange conversation with him, reminding her to look up aura reading. Marybeth loved all the new technology and was in the unfathomable amount of information that was right at her fingertips at any moment. Sure enough, her online search netted a long cache of possible websites. There at the top was Wikipedia. She especially loved Wikipedia, so she started there and then clicked on a few other sites to get a variety of information. She learned that aura refers to the energy field surrounding any object or being and is the phenomena depicted in religious art as halos. In recent times, it was more likely considered as nonsense than taken seriously. Now, technology could actually photograph the unseen energy in various colors and wavelengths. Some theories attribute different emotions to each color. Other practices use the auric field to determine imbalances in emotional and physical health. To her surprise, there were how-to pages in case she wanted to learn how to see auras. The whole idea made her a little nervous. She was already more entrenched in strangeness than she could handle. She wasn't about to go looking for it. As it happens, it was time to open the shop, so she closed out the pages and shifted her attention to something she knew: business. And that's the end of chapter 10. I'm happy you stayed with me. I hope you're feeling better than when we started. Sometimes all it takes is a little vacay in the middle of the day. If you're wanting a little more of the story, you can check out the playlist for the last yard sale by chapter. And also, there's a lot of other stories on my channel to listen to. You can also check out my website, marie-leclaire.com. You can find my novels directly on Amazon, too. The links are all in the description below. And please like and comment before you go. And subscribe so you don't miss a thing. See you at the next vacay. I wonder where that will be.